Hello and welcome to a DFS strategy video for the 2022 Genesis Scottish Open. My name is Eric and here's SweetSpotDFS. It's all about trying to hit the optimal lineup every single week. We take what we learned in the preview video from yesterday, apply it to this one by adding in the SweetSpot ranks, the Marquee Tee Times pairings, as well as the anchor buckets to help us narrow down our player pool to build lineups around. And at the end of this video, I will be building lineups using the SweetSpotDFS optimizer that is available to you guys. But before we get into all of that, we'll talk about the giveaways here, which will include that optimizer. But first, the subscriber giveaway. I'm giving away $40 at the end of this week if we can reach the goal of 450 subscribers on this channel. And if you want an entry into this giveaway, you got to be subscribed and you got to comment down below on this video. Give me your two favorite golfers you're building your lineups around. In fact, if you want more entries into this giveaway, go ahead and comment on the preview video I put out yesterday and the prize picks video that I'll be putting out tomorrow. And that way you can get 3 entries just this week that go towards that giveaway. Now, if we don't reach the goal of 450 subscribers by the end of the week, I'll rerun this giveaway next week and it'll be worth $30 instead of $40. And I'm going to continue to shave $10 off until we either hit $10 for the giveaway or we reach the goal of 450 subscribers. So it's whatever comes first. And all of your entries, so all of the weeks that you've participated, all of those entries get pooled up and they're all used during the time I actually run the giveaway. So none of your participation is lost. And again, it's my way to reward you guys for participating on this channel. So again, be subscribed, comment down below, and also retweet it on Twitter to get an additional free entry. The second giveaway that I do is a prize picks giveaway. It's more of a rebate, honestly. If you sign up using the promo code SweetSpot and put $20 in your account, I'm going to give you your $20 back. There's a link in the description below that'll get you to the sign up page if you're unfamiliar with how to get there. Not only am I going to give you $20 back, but Prize Picks is going to match your deposit up to $100. So your 20 turns into 40 and it just costs you that initial deposit plus the sign up information. So if you want to try to play, if you want a chance to play this for free, sign up using the promo code SweetSpot. Again, link in the description below. Now, those are kind of your monetary giveaways. I'm also providing a cheat sheet for you guys. Let me go ahead and put that on the screen. Basically, in the strategy video, as well as the preview video I put out yesterday, all of the information that I go over is at your disposal. You can use all this information, and I actually have the cheat sheet up right now. There is a link in the description for this this cheat sheet, and it provides you all the information that I use when I build my lineups. So again, if you want to follow along, go ahead, click on that link in the description. All I ask you guys to do is go to the file menu, go down to make a copy. That way you can use all the filters on this spreadsheet. You can also edit it however you'd like. I know there's people with FanDuel salaries that they like to plug in here. That's what you could do. I mean, you could go in and individually update each one of these to match FanDuel, or if you want to email me and tell me what the FanDuel pricing is, I certainly can apply that also here. Maybe I should do that somewhere in the future, just add a DK salary as well as a FanDuel salary. But either way, you guys will be able to mock it up however you'd like by going to File, Make a Copy. So highly suggest you guys to do that. Again, that's how you can use the filters that I'll be talking about throughout this video as well. Just highly encourage you guys to do that. Not only am I providing a cheat sheet, but I'm also providing the optimizer. Now you have to be subscribed and you got to comment down below in order to get access to this optimizer. You also have to email me at sweetspotdfs@gmail.com. I know it's a lot of steps, but honestly, you're already at this video. Just go ahead. If you're not subscribed, click that little subscribe button right next to the channel. And then scroll down and just comment on the video. Give me your 2 favorite golfers. And then on top of that, my email is in the description. You just can click on that and it should prompt you to whatever email service you use. And just email me, say, hey, I like to use the optimizer, and I will send it your way. Hopefully your name and your email kind of match up so I know it's you. If not, I'll probably ask for validation. But either way, if you want to use this, it's at your disposal. And it provides you all the information that we go over. So the dream sheet's already here, you know, that what you'll see on the cheat sheet. All of that information is here as well. There's other things that you can do. You can also look at the bucket system here. You can look at my ownership numbers that I usually do. I also have this contest page that you can save your lineups to and mass enter them on DraftKings. Again, I think we could do this for FanDuel, but I don't really have it set up for it, so probably not. But either way, you have all of this information, all of this utility at your disposal that you can use with this optimizer. So again, if you're interested, be subscribed, comment down below, and email me at SweetSpotDFS@gmail.com. Those are all the giveaways. So let's go ahead. Let's jump into the strategy video, and we're going to start with the SweetSpot ranks. Now, one thing I want you to note right away, this is the first page. I'm scrolled all the way up to the top. The last golfer you see is Billy Horschel at $8,200. So $8,200 is the last salary we see. When I sort this by SweetSpot ranks, anybody who's lower than $8,200, in my opinion, is going to be a value. That shows up on the first page, I mean. So anyone less than $82 that shows up on the first page after I sort this out, I would consider a value. Also, pay attention to the 10K golfers, because some of those are going to change. Anybody in the 10K range that isn't at the top, I'd say is probably overvalued. So when I go ahead and rank this, Justin Thomas is my #1 golfer, followed by Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, Patrick Cantlay, and then Jon Rahm. So we have 2 9K golfers that kind of leapfrog all the 10Ks. Well, not all of them, but 2 of the 10Ks, including Rahm and Fitzpatrick. But then we have 3 other ones, which they're all high quality plays. I'm really surprised that DraftKings only has 4 10K golfers this week. Usually they've been running out with 5 or even 6. So I think they might be changing things up a little bit. I do think Scotty Scheffler might be a little overpriced. I mean, he should be in the 11K range, but when there's only 4 10K golfers, it makes it really difficult to use him this week. I do like him, and we'll talk about him throughout this video, but a little too expensive. But like I said, anyone that you see that's less than $8,200 that makes its way onto this first page, I would consider a value. And we see 4 golfers. You got Keith Mitchell, who is a favorite amongst a lot, Keegan Bradley, Max Homa, and Cameron Young. So with the rest of this, you can do as you will. Again, if you're following along on the cheat sheet, you just go up to the little filter button, which is the second one on this menu bar, the second one from the right. So it looks like a little eyedropper, I guess, if you want to call it that. That's where you find the filter, and I have a little DraftKings filter that you would go to. Just to show you guys what makes up the score, or what makes up my rankings, which makes up the scores that creates the rankings. OWGR, we've got 0 grass stats because it's fescue. You can see all of the numbers are the exact same for each of these golfers. We do have course history here, so the TH means tournament history, but really that's course history. Then we have some season-long stats: bogey avoidance, birdie or better, driving distance. This is all on the PGA Tour. So there's some Euro Tour golfers that do not get these stats, and that's probably why some of the better ones have lower SweetSpot ranks. So there's a little flaw in the ranking system this week because of these points here. I will say, like, if I scroll down to a European golfer that does not have these stats, let's see, who can I find? Ryan Fox being one of them. This is the lowest points that they're going to have. So 100 would be your max. I don't have really anyone less than 40 points. So it does hurt them a little bit, but not extremely, not by a lot. I do have some recent form stats here. These again are PGA Tour stats. I mean, I only include PGA Tour data. This is technically a PGA Tour event. It is combined with the DP World Tour, the European Tour, but I don't have the European stats involved. So I don't have the DraftKings points, I don't have the average finishing position over the last 7 weeks, and I don't have the round by round scoring. So again, a little bit of a flaw with the European golfers. They're going to be hurt a little bit more. Just want to be transparent with you guys. If you are looking at these rankings and you're just like, I don't know how I feel about some of these rankings, that's the reason why you don't see a lot of Euro Tour golfers up there. And then I've got season-long DraftKings points, scoring average. Again, that's round by round. Rounds under 70%, cut made percentage, and DK top 10. Since this is a fantasy game we're playing, we might as well include the DraftKings points that are involved. Of course, that creates a score that then creates the ranking. So you can see this is pretty bunched up with the top 6 golfers all within 60 points of each other. And really the top 3 golfers are within 30 points of each other, but JT is, 30 points ahead of everybody. If we go down to our 20th, or I should say our 19th ranked golfer, he's at 875. So if we go up 100 points, that gets you basically to Will Zalatoris. And I don't know. Just to me, it means they're very close in rank, but obviously we're going to give a little bit of a nod towards Zalatoris, Cam Smith, Matthew Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick, probably the most overvalued golfer within the top 20 of the salary ranks, in my opinion. So do with that as you will, but that is how the Sweet Spot ranks operate. Now, what I like to do with this is I like to sort by the game number. I'm not going to do that right now, but I would sort by the game number, calculate how many, or basically calculate the Sweet Spot ranks amongst the 3 golfers in a group, total them up, and if they equal under a threshold, that is just an arbitrary number that I created, they then become in the Marquee Tee Times. But I've kind of changed that. I've just added up each of the group's ranks cumulatively, and I've ranked them based off of their score. So your number 1 group is Scottie Scheffler, Jon Rahm, Victor Hovland. And before I actually get through all the rest of these, the top 6 groups are the Marquee Tee Times for this tournament. I'm just going to do away with that arbitrary number. It's just going to be the top 6 groups from now on that are the Marquee Tee Times. The remaining, I like to highlight the top 9 groups because I get to put that into my optimizer. So these last 3 that have the light green font, they would be considered honorable mentions. Now, why is this important to you guys? Well, I've been tracking this for over a year. 2 to 4 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times end up in 95% of the optimal lineups. So there's been a few events where I've only had 1 or even 0 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times in the not in the optimal lineup, I should say. But that's like 5% of the tournaments that I've tracked this for. So that means there's a real good chance you're going to see 2 to 4 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times in the optimal lineup, which to me, I think is very important. You just get to start here. You basically, there's 6 groups you look at, 3 golfers in each of those groups. That means there's 18 total golfers. Pick 2 and build your lineups around them, and then exclude the rest, or pick 3 or pick 4, but start with 2, and then you can exclude the rest. The other rule to all of this is if you like Scottie Scheffler, don't pair him with Victor Hovland. So my one rule to go on top of pick 2 to 4 is don't pick 2 golfers from the same group. Or I should say, don't pick more than 1 golfer from the same group. So this very first one, Scottie Scheffler, Jon Rahm, Victor Hovland, pick 1 of them. Don't pick 2 of them. And maybe an easier example would be this Cam Smith, Jordan Spieth, Tyrrell Hatton group. They're all pretty accessible because of their price points. Don't roster more than 1 of them. So if you like Cam Smith, go ahead and ignore Spieth and Hatton when you build the rest of your lineups. Or vice versa. It doesn't matter with any of these guys. If you like Cam Smith, don't play Spieth or Hatton. But that's kind of how I like to look at these Marquee Tee Times. So very first thing that I'm going to talk about are my favorite pairings or duos, trios to pair up with. I think for me, when it comes to the 10K range, I'm choosing between Scheffler or Rahm. I think this is a good place to start, and I think this whole group together is a great group to play. There's a little bit of me that wants to play Justin Thomas because I really don't care about Hideki Matsuyama. I do like Tommy Fleetwood quite a bit. So why I don't want to play Justin Thomas is because I want access to Tommy Fleetwood. And I know that I can really only afford 1 of these guys, and I honestly don't like Victor Hovland that much this week. So I could access either Scheffler or Rahm, and then I could come down here, and even if I wanted to play Hideki Matsuyama, I could. I could also play Tommy Fleetwood. I don't care for Matt Fitzpatrick all that much, especially when he's in a group with Will Zalatoris and Colin Morikawa. I really like those golfers this week. Maybe not so much Morikawa, but I mean, it's a play that you could live with and be just fine. So I do think the 10K golfer to choose is between Scottie Scheffler or Jon Rahm. And I really don't have a lean one way or the other because they're both $11,000. There's $200 between them. So I kind of like going this route, and I kind of am leaning towards Jon Rahm more than I am Scottie Scheffler. So if I do any kind of pairing, it's going to start here. It's going to be Jon Rahm. I love the idea of Will Zalatoris. I love the idea of Tommy Fleetwood, Cam Smith, or Jordan Spieth. I love that. I also don't mind anybody in this group: Patrick Cantlay, Max Homa, Francesco Molinari. And then I'm probably staying away from this other group: Sung Jae, Billy Horschel, Ryan Fox. Now, I'm not saying you guys should stay away from them as well. It's just I would much rather go like Rahm, Zalatoris, or go Rahm, Fleetwood. And I could even put Zalatoris in there. I could go Rahm, Zalatoris, Fleetwood and be just fine. Remember, when I like to build lineups, I start 10-9-8, 7-7-6 for my salary builds, and then I make like 2 adjustments if I need to. So if I don't like any of the 10K golfers, I can substitute a 10 for another 9 and then leave it at that. But again, I want to spend more than $49,000 on my salary. So maybe if I do drop from a 10 to a 9, I bump up a 6 to another 7, or I bump up a 7 to another 8, or an 8 to another 9. So maybe I have 3 9Ks. That's not really the smartest choice to go, but I could do 2 9s, 2 8s, 2 9s, an 8, 3 7s, or maybe even 4 7Ks. Well, that doesn't make sense. 2 9s, an 8, and 3 7s. There you go. Either way, I do like starting with Jon Rahm though, and I think that's where I'm gonna build most of my lineups, is to begin with Rahm, and then either go to Zalatoris as a 9K golfer, or maybe even Cam Smith as a 9K golfer. And I could include Tommy Fleetwood, to be quite honest. I feel like I'm just going to gravitate towards Fleetwood quite a bit. I don't want to ignore Max Homa. I've been fading him way too long. I actually don't mind Billy Horschel this week at $8,200. He's been hanging out overseas, so he's acclimated to, the jet lag. I'm sure that's worn off of him already. He's just there, so I feel like he's in a good spot. And at $8,200, I could burn money in worse ways, basically. But either way, that's kind of where I'm looking at. Again, find 2 to 4 golfers to build your lineups around within these Marquee Tee Times, and don't pair 2 golfers from the same group together. Those are kind of the only rules. So it's a smart way to start out, and then you can go from there. And you can eliminate the rest of these golfers. And by the way, let me just plug the optimizer. I have all of your Marquee Tee Times in here. Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, 4, 5. These are all from the group rankings. And then I have it down in the rules here. Make sure to pick 2 and no more than 4. So the optimizer is just going to do it for you. But you certainly can already just lock in, like a Jon Rahm and a Will Zalatoris, and just call it good, and have the optimizer just select the rest of your golfers from there. So you already know that those are your 2 guys from the Marquee Tee Times. Pretty solid. And again, an easy way to build lineups, especially if you're following the SweetSpot process. So from here, to narrow our lineups down even more, we go to the Marquee Tee Times, which, if you're following along on the cheat sheet, you just go to the bucket system, put a filter on that, and follow along with me. So I'm going to go ahead and put a filter on this. Now, there is something a little bit odd about this week. This is a new tournament, so we really can't use historical numbers to provide our projections. We went over this in the preview video. We went over my favorite buckets to choose. And I'm just going to tell you what I think my anchor buckets are without seeing the projections. Last year one, I want at least 1 golfer from this, somewhere between 1 to 3. That is 1 anchor bucket. And if you're unfamiliar with the bucket system, I have a video in the description below. I should say I have a link to a video in the description below that'll explain all about the bucket system. Honestly, the first 5 minutes is all that you need to watch. You'll understand what it is just from those 5 minutes. The second one that is, well, remember anchor buckets are determined by how many golfers are in that bucket. If there's less than 30, that's what I would consider an anchor bucket. So I guess I can just filter out by that condition right now. And you guys could do this too if you make a copy of the cheat sheet. Let's go ahead and go less than 30. Now, to me, last year one, definitely an anchor bucket, for sure. We want 1 to 3 of those guys. Then for the rest of the last year buckets, I just ignore. I don't think either of these are all that great. And there aren't a lot of golfers in each of those buckets. So I definitely think I want one last year one for sure. And I guess if we go ahead and take a look at all the last year ones, Scheffler, Rahm, Fitzpatrick, and Justin Thomas. Let me go ahead and just sort this by salaries, make it easier. So you already have those 4 golfers that are in the 10K. You also have Xander Schauffele, Sam Burns, Tyrrell Hatton, Robert McIntyre. And if you want to know what last year ones are, again, watch the video, but here's your quick answer. It's anyone who finished inside the top 20 of this event last year. Remember, this is the Scottish Open. This tournament has been around since the 70s, but this is the first time it's a PGA Tour event. So technically this is the first time, this is a first time event on the PGA Tour, but the Scottish Open has been around. So we do have course history, which means we do have last year buckets. And again, you know, we had 20 golfers inside the top 20 from last year in this field. Some of these are 6K golfers that I think we could probably just ignore. And a lot of these 7K golfers we can ignore too. Min-Woo Lee is your defending champion, by the way. But, I mean, Jon Rahm's already there. I think he's already kind of a lock for me. And then, I don't know, maybe I go with like a Thomas Detry. I really do like, or Detry. I do like Thomas Detry this week. I also don't mind, I don't mind any of these 7K golfers that are priced $7,100 and above. I don't really care for the 7K flat golfers, but could easily start Sam Burns, Jon Rahm instead of Zalatoris and Jon Rahm. That's definitely doable because these are both last year ones. So it's not terrible. But anyways, these are your last year ones, and that is an anchor bucket, I think, for me for sure. Going down to the next anchor buckets, I'm probably ignoring all of the last week buckets. These are not anchor buckets whatsoever. I wouldn't put money on any of those buckets to include at least one. To me, their projections are 0 to 2. Looking at course history, yeah, course history 1 bucket I think is definitely an anchor bucket. That's probably the only one that I would call an anchor bucket. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. And I mean, Scottie Scheffler has 1 event under his belt. I'm sure Jon Rahm does as well. You can kind of figure that out on the cheat sheet if you take a look at their last year finishing position versus their course history. So if the numbers match up, that's kind of telling you, you know, they only have 1 event under their belt. Justin Thomas has pretty good course history, and it looks like he's played this more than once, maybe twice, and that's probably twice because you wouldn't get a 0.5 unless it was an even number. So it's either 2 or 4 times, and I'm going to guess it was twice. Matthew Fitzpatrick was 2nd here last year. Pretty decent course history. Schauffele looks like he played here once. Same with Burns, 18th place. Got a couple European golfers in Fleetwood and Hatton. Of course, they probably play here more than once. Kuchar, I don't know. Min-Woo Lee's play here more than once. And then you got a couple other guys down here that's only played here once. So really, if you're looking at the course history angle and you want more than 1 event, you're looking at someone like a Justin Thomas, Matt Fitzpatrick, Tommy Fleetwood, Tyrrell Hatton, Min-Woo Lee even, your defending champion, and that's probably it. Maybe Matt Kuchar, I don't know. But those would be guys who have more than 1 year's worth of experience. And by the way, the course history buckets don't really what would you call it, discriminate if you only have 1 year worth of experience versus 2 or 3 years of course history. So I wouldn't look too far into that. If it makes you more comfortable picking a player, then so be it. Then that's how you feel, and that's totally fine. I'm not going to make a fuss over that. but you are more than welcome to select any one of these golfers. I think you want at least one, and I think up to 3. So definitely one, but you can choose up to 3. I keep hitting this bucket button because I usually have this way over on a different tab, but I put it up here in case I need to make any adjustments really quick. So if you're confused by that, don't be. Now, that would be the only course history bucket that I would consider an anchor bucket. Going down to the recent form buckets, we've got a couple decent ones, but definitely for sure your recent form 2 is an anchor bucket, and I almost want to say you want 2 golfers from this bucket. So if we go ahead and take a look at recent form 2s, and by the way, if you're wondering why I'm coming up with these anchor buckets just off the top of my head, what I'm really doing is I'm looking at the strength of field that's being applied to this bucket, how many golfers are in it, and what that percentage is of the strength of field points. So just looking at, you know, all of these numbers, I get a good sense of what an anchor bucket is. And quite frankly, that 20 to 40 range is always a really good bucket when it comes to recent form buckets. I would go ahead and choose that. Now I do see one wrinkle here. Oh, never mind. I was going to say it is red under the average salary. If this is ever over $8,300, I usually pump the brakes on my projections. And instead of 2 out of 4, I'd say 1 out of 3. Because it would be really difficult to own more than one golfer in your lineup if this average salary was over $8,300. But the other rule with that is if the bucket, if 50% of golfers are over 9K, then for sure we drop down the projection. But I think 2 out of 4 is pretty safe. And again, I already have my guy Rom in here. I've got my guy Zalatoris. If I want to even drop to Sam Burns, because we brought up his name during the last year 1 bucket, I certainly could do that. And even Justin Thomas is here. Like, JT's been in a lot of these anchor buckets, and although that doesn't guarantee them to be inside the top 10, it definitely improves their odds quite a bit. So I do like Justin Thomas this week. I like John Rahm. I like Will Zalatoris. I like Sam Burns. Definitely starting a 10-9 with either of these golfers, I think is probably the way to go. I'm feeling really good about that. But again, I'm thinking you want somewhere between 2 to 4 golfers. So if you want like Rahm, Zalatoris, drop down to the 8s. Maybe we don't see anyone. Maybe we want to go with Fleetwood and he's not here. We can go and skip the 8K range. Come down to the 7s and like we have a ton. I love Aaron Rai, especially at this event. I think he's won this before. I actually don't mind Patrick Rogers, believe it or not. He's making a trip over from the John Deere Classic. I wouldn't mind a Kuchar. Don't mind Mito. Don't mind Keegan Bradley. And I also don't mind Justin Rose. So a lot of good 7K golfers that you can choose from to go with a 10 and a 9K golfer. So really up to you guys, but I think you do want at least 2 of these golfers. Looking at the next ones, okay, salary and strokes gained buckets. I don't really consider these anchor buckets really ever. If there was one that I would try to get you guys more on, would be the strokes gained 1. And again, you can follow along with this on the cheat sheet. You just go to these filters once again. You don't even have to really necessarily know what a strokes gained 1 golfer is, but I do include that in my my anchor buckets. So you certainly can go to the cheat sheet and follow along this way. And I would suggest maybe 1 to 3 of these guys to build your lineups around. It's going to be easy if you like Scheffler already. Same goes with Thomas, but Will Zalatoris is there. Tommy Fleetwood is there. These are golfers I've already rattled off in this video that I like. So is Sam Burns and Xander Schauffele. Like, yeah, I definitely think 1 to 3 golfers will finish inside the top 10 from that bucket. So that's why I would consider an anchor bucket. That's what I'd build my lineups around. Okay. Now that we know what the anchor buckets are, let's go ahead and build some lineups. I'm going to go ahead and use the SweetSpotDFS optimizer, which is available to you guys just by commenting down in the comment section, being subscribed to this channel, and emailing me at sweetspotdfs@gmail.com. Now, if we go with Rahm and Zalatoris as our 2 anchor plays, by the way, I ran this before jumping on. Here's the most optimal lineup with no locks involved, but I do have my anchors in here. So with all this being said, this is your optimal lineup. Now, if I run this optimizer with Rom and Will Zalatoris, let's see what it spits out. We've got Rom, Zalatoris. It skips the 8K range, goes down to 3 7Ks. Keegan Bradley, Harold Varner III, Chris Kirk, and Ian Poulter. Now, I have this set up to build me unique lineups. This N over here means Ian Poulter will be skipped if I rerun this. So let's double check to see if the other 3 guys stay here with Poulter. Chris Kirk and Harold Varner III do. I really hate seeing, it's like a superstition thing in me, seeing all golfers at $7,400. I don't like that whatsoever. Let's go ahead and run this again. So it's just going to keep skipping the 6K range. Now, you can use the optimizer to make sure it selects one 6K golfer. And I'm actually going to change my minimum salaries to be $49,500 as my minimum salary, and $50 is my maximum. So we run this optimizer again. It's going to select a 6K golfer, and probably an 8K. 2 9s instead. Look at that. Rom, Zalatoris, and Burns, followed with Chris Kirk, Tom Hoagie, and Andrew Novak. Wow. That is a wonky lineup. This is better. Way better. Rom, Zalatoris, Bradley, Mitchell, HV3, and Danny Willett. I do like Danny Willett here. I like that the optimizer selected that one. One of my favorite lineups so far. Don't care about Streb in there, but Billy Horschel makes an appearance. Like that. Ooh, Alex Smalley. I do like Smalley's upside. Never seen him play overseas before. I haven't really tracked his success on European Tour golf courses. But that's not terrible. Again, I absolutely hate when these numbers are paired together. It's a superstition thing. Nothing outside of that. Like, I don't have any data on it. Here's an interesting lineup. Ryan Palmer, Matt Kuchar, HV3, Keith Mitchell to go with Rom and Zalatoris. I'll run maybe 2 more. Definitely 1 more. I want to see what else it selects. Lucas Glover. Yeah, I'll play 1 more. There we go. This is what I like to see. 10-9-8, 7-7-6. Kirk, Tringali, Matthew Neesmith. Okay. So the other thing I want to do is look at a Justin Thomas lineup. And I think pairing up Justin Thomas with, let's go with Sam Burns. Since Sam Burns was one of the golfers that I did like, might as well just see what it looks like here. I'm sure Ian Poulter will show up. Nope. So Thomas, Burns, Horschel, Mitchell, HV3, Smalley. Let's go ahead and remove HV3. I've seen him way too many times, and I hate rostering HV3 because he breaks my heart more than he wins it over. Now we substitute him out. We put Matt Kuchar in. Makes sense. But it looks like Horschel's just going to be a mainstay. I do like Lahiri in this lineup. So JT, Burns, Horschel, Mitchell, Kuchar just seems to be what the optimizer wants to continue to select. What if we go ahead and take Kuchar out? I mean, to me, Kuchar's not a super high upside play. He's more of a conservative, safe play. And instead, so we substitute in Sebastian Munoz. But it looks like Horschel and Mitchell are mainstays in this lineup. So if you want like a core 4 or anything like that, you certainly can do that. Cam Young makes an appearance if we substitute Billy Horschel out. Oh, I like this lineup. Mitchell, Munoz, Matt Wallace. Okay. I think that's it. That's all the lineups I'm going to build. I'm not going to continue to go through all of these. You guys can certainly reach out, ask about the optimizer. I will send it to you, and then you can fiddle around with the lineups however you'd like to build them. I will set that. I'll send the optimizer with the presets for all the buckets that I already have in here, so you can change these up however you like. I have all the maxes in here, all the mins in there. I do have a video on how to use this that's also in the description. So if you do get the optimizer, I highly encourage you guys to watch that video first, just to see how to set this up and how you can manipulate it to suit your needs, essentially. But I do have it currently set to follow the SweetSpot process. So entirely up to you guys, however you want to do this. If you want this, again, be subscribed to this channel, comment down below, email me at SweetSpotDFS@gmail.com. As always, there's a cheat sheet involved. There's a link in the description. That's free. You don't have to be subscribed to this channel. You don't even have to comment down below because it's in the description. So you just go hit that link. It'll bring you to this page. Again, go to the file menu, make a copy. Easy as that. You get to filter this out just the way I did it during this video. You can also mark it up with whatever you want to. I'm not sure why you would, but you certainly can. You can do whatever you want with this cheat sheet once it is yours. And then outside of that, $40 can be yours. At least you can have a chance to win $40 by being subscribed to this channel, commenting down below. Give me your 2 favorite golfers you're building your lineups around this week, and you'll get an entry into this giveaway. If you want more, go to the preview video I put out yesterday, comment there. Go to the prize picks video tomorrow, comment in that video. And then if you want an additional one, retweet this on Twitter. Retweet the strategy video that I'm about to post on Twitter once I publish this. That gets you an additional entry. You can get 4. And then just pay attention to my preview videos because that's when I run the giveaway if we reach the goal, which you can see on the screen, of 450 subscribers. And last but not least, if you want a chance to play prize picks for free, sign up using the promo code SweetSpot, put $20 in your account, and then I will send you $20. So you got to make that initial deposit, but I will refund you basically the very next day. And then prize picks will match your deposit up to $100, so that 20 turns into 40. So you basically have $40 in your account, and it only costs you that initial deposit of $20 and then sign up. Simple as that. Again, there's a link in the description that'll send you to the sign up page. But that's all that I have for you guys. So appreciate all of you guys watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next one. All right, bye.